Hard times have a way of revealing what you're really made of. Anybody can smile when the sun is shining, when the bills are paid, when the path is clear. But the true test of your spirit comes when the storms roll in, when the doors close, and when you feel like you're walking uphill with the weight of the world on your back. The question is not whether you will face hard times. The question is, will you rise in them? The secret to thriving in hard times is not about avoiding struggle. It's about learning how to grow in the middle of it. Struggle is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Every challenge you face is shaping something inside you that comfort never could. Pain builds strength, delays build patience, setbacks build resilience. And sometimes the very thing you think is breaking you is the thing that's building you. You've got to learn how to stand firm when the wind is against you. You've got to dig deep and find the part of yourself that refuses to give up. Because here's the truth, you are stronger than you think, and you are capable of more than you know. But you'll never find out if you quit when it gets hard. There will be moments when you're overlooked, moments when you're underestimated, moments when you're flat out rejected. Don't let that stop you. Your worth is not determined by someone else's opinion, and your future is not dictated by someone else's decision. Keep moving forward. Keep showing up. Keep doing the work, even when nobody's watching. That's how you build the kind of foundation that can't be shaken. You can't control every storm, but you can control how you face it. You can choose to let hard times define you, or you can choose to let them refine you. You can focus on the pain, or you can focus on the lesson. Every single setback carries within it the seed of a greater comeback, but you have to decide to plant it and nurture it until it grows. So I'm challenging you today, don't just survive the hard times, thrive in them, stand tall when life tries to push you down. Fight for your future when everything around you says you should give up. Use the storms to strengthen your roots so that when the next season comes, you're not just standing, you're stronger, wiser, and ready for more. The world doesn't just need people who can make it through tough times. It needs people who can rise in them. Be that person. Start today. Keep moving. Keep growing. And whatever you do, don't stop. Hard times are not just random obstacles thrown in your path. They are the very tools life uses to prepare you for the future you've been praying for, working for, and dreaming about. When you face struggle, it's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're being trained. Think about an athlete before the championship game. They don't win by avoiding the gym, skipping practice, or staying comfortable. They win because
they've put in the sweat, endured the soreness, and faced the drills that push them past their limits. Struggle works the same way. It forces you to stretch beyond what's easy, to build muscles you didn't know you had, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. Most people run from struggle because it feels uncomfortable, and it is. Struggle demands more from you than you think you have to give. It interrupts your plans, it tests your patience, it makes you question if you're even capable of going further. But in those moments, something powerful is happening beneath the surface. Every setback is sharpening your focus. Every delay is teaching you discipline. Every challenge is training you to handle more than you could before. You might not see it in the middle of the storm, but when the clouds clear, you'll realize you've been built stronger. Struggle is where you learn how to stand when life tries to knock you down. It's where you learn to fight for what matters, even when the odds are against you. Without it, you'd never know the depth of your resilience or the size of your courage. Comfort doesn't reveal your potential. Struggle does. When everything is easy, you can coast through life without truly knowing how much you're capable of. But when life hits you hard, that's when you find out what you're made of. The truth is, struggle doesn't take away your strength, it reveals it. And every time you push through, you're building endurance for the next level. It's like climbing a mountain. Each step may feel harder than the last, but as you keep moving upward, you realize your legs are getting stronger, your lungs can handle more, and your heart beats with a new kind of determination. That's what struggle does. It prepares you for heights you couldn't reach without it. When you start looking at challenges as training rather than punishment, everything changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? You start to see that the very thing that feels like it's standing in your way is actually shaping the path beneath your feet. And you realize that the strength you're building now is the same strength you'll lean on in the future. When bigger opportunities and bigger challenges come your way, your mindset in hard times is the difference between breaking down and breaking through. Two people can face the exact same situation, and one will see nothing but problems while the other sees possibilities. It's not about luck, and it's not about circumstances. It's about perspective. The way you think when life is difficult shapes every choice you make, every word you speak, and every step you take. If your mind is filled with defeat, you'll walk like you've already lost. But if your mind is focused on possibility, you'll carry yourself like victory is just a matter of time. Your thoughts are like the lens through which you see the world. If the lens is dirty with fear, doubt, and negativity, everything will look hopeless, even opportunities standing right in front of you. But if the lens is clear with focus, gratitude, and determination, you'll see the way forward even when others are stuck in place. That's why you can't just let your thoughts wander wherever they want, because they'll often lead you to places you don't want to stay. You have to take control of what you feed your mind.
especially when life gets tough. Hard times have a way of magnifying whatever is already inside you. If you've been filling your mind with negative voices, discouraging influences, and constant comparison, then struggle will only amplify that negativity. But if you've been training your mind with uplifting words, empowering thoughts, and a clear vision of where you're going, then hard times will bring out that strength. It's like squeezing a sponge. Whatever's inside will come out.
The challenge is that when everything feels like it's falling apart, the easiest thing to do is spiral into hopelessness. You replay worst-case scenarios in your mind. You talk yourself out of trying. You start believing the lie that you're stuck for good. That's why you have to guard your mindset like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. The battles you face on the outside are won or lost in the battles you fight on the inside first. When you choose to shift your
mindset, you take back control from the circumstances trying to dictate your life. You stop letting your situation tell you who you are, and you start telling your situation how it's going to end. That's not blind optimism, that's strength in the face of reality. It's seeing the storm and deciding to walk through it anyway, because you know there's something worth reaching on the other side. Mindset doesn't magically remove challenges, but it changes the way you face them. It gives you clarity when everything feels chaotic. It fuels your endurance when quitting seems easier. It turns obstacles into lessons and setbacks into stepping stones. And when you master your mindset, you discover that you don't just survive hard times, you grow through them in ways you never imagined. When everything around you feels unstable, discipline becomes the anchor that keeps you steady. Hard times have a way of shaking your confidence, distracting your focus, and tempting you to give in to comfort over commitment. But discipline refuses to let your emotions dictate your actions. It's the ability to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it, even when there's no immediate reward, even when the world tells you it's pointless. Discipline is not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about creating progress in imperfect conditions. In challenging seasons, it's easy to convince yourself that you'll get back on track when things calm down. But life rarely waits for you to be ready. If you only move when it's easy, you'll never build the resilience to push through when it's hard. Discipline demands that you keep putting one foot in front of the other, even on days when your energy is low and your motivation is gone. Those small, consistent steps add up over time, and before you know it, you've built a foundation strong enough to weather storms that would have destroyed you before. Discipline is also about controlling what you can when so much feels out of control. You can't decide how every situation will unfold, but you can decide how you'll respond. You can choose to keep your commitments, stick to your routines, and maintain the habits that strengthen you. This consistency builds trust with yourself. You learn that when you make a promise to yourself, you'll keep it, no matter what's happening around you. That self-trust becomes a source of confidence that nothing can shake. The truth is, hard times test your discipline like nothing else. It's one thing to stay committed when everything is going well, but it's another thing entirely when life feels like a fight. Discipline is the voice that says get up when the easier choice is to stay down. It's the reason you keep putting in the work when the results aren't visible yet. It's the reminder that the process is shaping you even when you can't see the progress. People often underestimate how much of success is simply refusing to quit. Discipline keeps you in the game long enough for the breakthrough to happen. It's the quiet daily decisions that build strength and endurance over time, waking up early to work on your goals, making the hard choice to focus instead of distract yourself, doing the right thing when nobody is watching. These moments may feel small, but they're the bricks that build the life you're aiming for. When discipline becomes part of who you are, you stop relying on fleeting motivation. You move forward because it's your standard, not because you feel inspired in the moment. And in the middle of hard times, that steady, relentless commitment becomes the difference between falling apart and rising stronger. Perspective shapes everything. The way you choose to see a situation determines how you respond to it, how much strength you draw from it, and ultimately, whether you allow it to break you or build you. It to break you or build you. In hard times, your mind can either be your greatest ally or your most dangerous enemy. If you only see problems, you'll feel powerless. But if you train yourself to see possibilities, opportunities, and lessons, you create an entirely different reality for yourself. What you focus on expands, and if you focus on the pain will consume you. If you focus on the potential, even in the smallest details, that potential will guide your steps forward. Perspective is about choosing to see beyond the immediate struggle. It's recognizing that while the moment might be difficult, it's not permanent. Every challenge carries within it the seed of growth, but that seed can only take root if you're willing to look for it. When you shift your view from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this, you change your role from a passive victim to an active participant in your own transformation. That simple mental shift can turn despair into determination. Your perspective also influences your resilience. People who see setbacks as the end of the road often stop trying, but those who view setbacks as part of the journey keep going, knowing that detours can still lead to incredible destinations. You can choose to believe that this moment is defining you in a negative way, or you can choose to believe it's preparing you for something greater. The facts of the situation might be the same, but the story you Tell yourself about it changes everything. It's easy to let fear, frustration, or disappointment distort your perspective. That's why you have to be intentional about what you feed your mind. The conversations you have, the content you consume, and the thoughts you dwell on all shape the lens through which you see the world. If you fill your mind with negativity, you'll see limitations everywhere. If you fill it with hope and possibilities, you'll see opportunities where others see dead ends. Perspective doesn't mean denying reality or pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It means acknowledging the difficulty but refusing to let it define the entire picture. It's like looking at a puzzle and realizing that one difficult piece doesn't make the whole image ugly. It's just part of the bigger picture that's still coming together. When you step back, you can see patterns you couldn't notice when you were only focused on one small part, shifting your crapitude pattern that's still coming together. Perspective often requires slowing down and asking better questions. Instead of fixating on what you've lost, ask yourself what you've gained in strength, wisdom, or character. Instead of focusing on the obstacles, look for the skills you're developing as you work through them. This mental discipline doesn't remove the challenge, but it changes your relationship with it, and that shift can give you the energy to keep moving forward with purpose and clarity. Gratitude is a powerful force that can transform the way you experience even the hardest seasons of life. It's not about ignoring the pain or pretending the struggles don't exist. It's about intentionally choosing to focus on what's still good, what's still working, and what's still worth holding on to. When you cultivate gratitude, you shift your attention from what's missing to what's present, from what's broken to what's still intact. This mental shift has the ability to lift you out of despair, and into a mindset where hope feels possible again. Even in the most challenging times, there are always things, no matter how small, that you can appreciate. It could be the kindness of a stranger, the support of a friend, or simply the fact that you made it through another day. These moments might seem insignificant when compared to the magnitude of your challenges, but they are the anchors that keep you steady in turbulent waters. The act of noticing them trains your mind to look for for light, instead of darkness, which makes you more resilient in the face of adversity. Gratitude changes your emotional state. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you invite feelings of peace and contentment into your life. These feelings can coexist with your struggles. They don't erase them, but they give you the strength to endure them. A grateful heart sees opportunities where a bitter heart sees nothing but closed doors. This doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you make gratitude a daily discipline, something you actively practice, especially when life feels heavy. One of the most profound effects of gratitude is the way it shifts your perspective on challenges themselves. When you're grateful for the lessons a hardship is teaching you, you stop viewing it as an unfair punishment and start seeing it as a valuable part of your journey. You begin to realize that even pain has a purpose, and that realization helps you endure it with more grace and patience. Gratitude doesn't mean you have to enjoy the struggle. It means you recognize that something within it is shaping you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. It also deepens your relationships. When you express genuine gratitude to others, you strengthen the bonds that sustain you. A simple thank you can make someone feel valued and remind you that you're not alone in your fight. Relationships built on mutual appreciation are more likely to withstand the pressures of difficult seasons because both sides are focused on what's good instead of what's lacking. Gratitude fosters connection, and connection fuels hope. Practicing gratitude requires slowing down and paying attention. It means pausing in the middle of chaos to notice the little victories, the subtle blessings, and the quiet moments of beauty that might otherwise go unnoticed. These small acknowledgments create a reservoir of positivity you can draw from when your energy is low and your spirit feels drained. The more you train yourself to recognize and appreciate these moments, the more equipped you become to navigate hardship with a clear mind and a steady heart. Helping others, especially during times when you yourself are struggling, has a unique way of breathing life back into your own spirit. When you extend your hand to lift someone else, you often find that you're lifting yourself as well. There's a powerful shift that happens when you move your focus away from your own pain and pour your energy into easing the burdens of another. It's not about ignoring your struggles, but about stepping outside of them long enough to see that there's still purpose in your life, even in the midst of hardship. In challenging seasons, it's easy to become consumed by your own problems, to feel like the weight you're carrying is too much to bear. But when you choose to serve others, whether it's through a kind word, a helping hand, or simply being present, you remind yourself that you are still capable of making an impact. That reminder is a powerful antidote to feelings of helplessness. Even the smallest act of kindness can plant seeds of hope, both in the person receiving it and in your own heart. Helping others creates a sense of connection that you might otherwise lose in times of difficulty. Struggles often make people retreat inward, isolating themselves from those around them. But service draws you outward, reconnecting you with the human experience and showing you
that everyone faces battles, even if they look different from your own.
This shared understanding builds empathy, and empathy strengthens relationships in a way that nothing else can. When you give of yourself, you also create a ripple effect. One act of kindness can inspire another, and before you know it, a chain of generosity begins to spread far beyond what you initially imagined. The beauty of this is that you may never fully see the impact you've made, but knowing you've contributed to someone else's strength adds meaning to your own journey. It gives you a reason to keep going, even when the road ahead feels uncertain. Helping others can also shift your perspective on your own challenges. When you step into the life of someone who is hurting, you begin to see your struggles through a different lens. This isn't about comparing hardships, but about recognizing that you're not the only one fighting through the storm. That realization can lessen the weight you feel, replacing some of it with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Service has a way of awakening gratitude too. In the process of helping someone else, you often become more aware of the resources, strengths, and opportunities you still have. You see more clearly what's in your hands to give, and that realization brings a quiet sense of abundance, even in times of scarcity. The act of helping doesn't just benefit the one receiving, it shapes the one giving, molding you into someone who can endure hardship with compassion, resilience, and a heart that remains open despite the pain.